ball. Okay, we're going to root down on the right. We're going to create a T stance. Actually, let's just do without hands first, okay? T stance. Okay, going over our feet alignment. T stance, storing the energy. The energy has to come through the system to get out to a bow stance. But first we have to get into an L stance. On an L stance, all it means is to come out and to the side. Out and to the side, show me with your hand. Out and to the side. But in one motion, on your heel of your left, it belongs here. Where? Here. Okay? But the energy now stays with your back foot until I tell you, okay? T stance, L stance. Now, move the energy through the system all the way up and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Bow stance, bow and arrow. Don't lock in the back knee. Don't go beyond the knee of the toes of your, don't put your knee beyond your toes of your front. Sit back and sit down. Pivot, root down on the left, capital T, out and to the side, L, move the energy all the way through their system, place it down firmly, bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Pivot, root down and obey gravity on the right, T stance. Take an L, move that energy through the system, turn your hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down or root down or ground down on a T stance, out on an L, move the energy, turn the hips and waist, firm down, bow stance. Okay, sit down, sit back, sit down, twist step. Then we're gonna add our hands. Left hand 2 inches below your navel, T stance, right hand about chest level, bring your elbows in, okay? Here we go. T stance, L. Move the energy, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance, center with a ball. Right foot ready to go, bottom hand is right. Here we go. Step out on an L. Move the energy from the back all the way to the tips of the finger. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Move that energy. Bottom hand advances. Bow stance. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. Holding your ball for centering. L stance. Turn the hips and waist. Move the energy out to the tips of your finger. Part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. Okay, you stored enough energy. Now we're going to do an L. Move that energy up and through your system, out to the tips of your finger, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. Store that energy, L. Move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back and sit down, and pause at holding your ball on a T stance. Then we went on to learn a multitasking, more fun, but a little bit more challenging movement, where we were on a T because it dictates us, T, L, bow. But in this situation, we're not parting the wild horse's mane, but we're doing a brush knee. In a brush knee, we have one hand that's higher and one hand that's lower. The lower hand, the fingers point to your shoulder, whereas the other one is like it's catching a ball coming across this way. And we're on a T stance, and we're gonna do this, but 3 things happen. So I shouldn't be up this way. I should be storing the energy, because if I'm up this way, I have 2 weighted feet, but I want to sink down and obey gravity to allow the one foot to be weightless to advance, okay? So I'm like this, and I'm in a T, and the feet alignment dictates that I'm going to go into an L stance. So here I go into an L stance, but three things happen. The top hand comes to the ear, the bottom hand comes down. Here it goes 3. Then I'm going to what? Move the energy, turn my hips and waist, and I'm going to brush my knee. Sit back, and I'm going to sit down because that's what the choreograph says. Twist step, rooting down to store the energy. On a T, I have it set up correctly. One hand higher, one hand to the shoulder. When I'm ready to move, I do 3 things. Ear, hand, and heel. Then what? How do I get out to a bow stance? I move the energy from the back, I turn my hips and waist, my hands go for the ride. Okay? Let's see if we can do that now, okay? So, here we go. Setting up our foot, right foot straight away or parallel to the line. Left foot weightless on a stem of a T. Left hand to the shoulder, right hand up higher. And am I this way? No. I'm pretty much squared, sort of, slight angle to my right foot. I'm not totally this way, but I'm slightly turned towards the left, but not turned this way and prematurely, neither turned to the side this way. Okay? So gently, slightly to glance at that top hand. Right hand is higher. Its fingers are probably above your head. The left hand doesn't sit onto your chest, but almost as if it's parallel to the chest, equidistance away, with the fingertips on the shoulder, pointing towards the shoulder. We want to warm up one thing. The top hand comes to the head. How? Top hand comes to the head. Hey, that's easy. All you do is use your core and bring it in. You don't just concentrate on your arm, okay? Use your core, bring it in. That's more powerful. Then the second thing that happens is that the left hand just drops down. How does it drop down? There. It doesn't do any curving, it just drops down all together. Ear and hand, out, ear and hand. But that makes us want to do something else. We can't just stay here and do this. We have to set it up. We have to bring out our left heel. Here we go, on an L stance. Ear, hand down, heel. Now what? How are we going to brush our knee? Move the energy, turn the hips and waist. Hands just get there by themselves. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down for gravity. T stance, left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder. Warm it up. First the ear, ear and hand, ear and hand. 3 things, here we go. Ear, hand, and heel. Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, swing that hip. Bow stance, brush knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down. Right hand higher, left hand to the shoulder, T stance. Actually, this stance helps us to center. It's almost like holding the ball. We're centered. Now we can move 3 things at a time. Ear, hand, and heel. Now what? Move the energy, turn the hips and waist, power through the front, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down for gravity. T stance. All together, ear and hand and heel. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy to the tips of your finger. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Bow stance. Then take a peek at me. Am I obeying my Tai Chi posture? Am I chasing after my front hand, or am I straight up? Everybody should be straight up. Pointing finger should be like your backbone, okay? Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist step. T-stance. This one we have to do everything together. Let's try. Ear and hand and heel. Now what? Turn the hips and waist, move that energy, spin that hips all the way across to square with that left foot. So both hips are square to the left foot. Then look at your knee, your front knee and your toe. Are they lined up, or is your knee kind of gravitating beyond your knee? If it is, you don't have Tai Chi posture, so you're going to have to pull that knee back. Okay? Sit back and sit down. Twist step, root down, T-stance. All together. Ear, hand goes down, heel goes out. Energy is moved. Turn the hips and waist, both stance. So the more energy or the more you have in the turn of your hips and waist, the better can you brush your knee, okay? Root down, T-stance, all together. Turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, shift your weight, T-stance. All together, ear, hand down, heel down, turn hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Right hand higher, left hand to your shoulder, all together, ear, hand and heel. What? Turn hips and waist, move that energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, hold your ball on a T stance. Okay? Okay, your turn to watch, okay? Look for something that perhaps you can incorporate, okay? I'm going to turn this way so that you have that same orientation. Okay, I'm going to give you a front view now. I'm not going to say too much because you're doing a lot of observing, absorbing, and also thinking through the process. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put some words to it. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, root down. Set it up correctly. Multitask. Move the energy. Turn the hips and waist fully. Therefore, the hand, brush the knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, root down. Set it up correctly. Multitask, turn hips and waist, move that energy, fully turn. Okay, ready to try it after I do one more set, and you pick up those last bits of information that you want to teach yourselves how to do. okay?
Because most of you are new, what Lucille just did was try to introduce you to the language and the words, the key words that she uses. So you may not be able to hear her see her at times, but if you hear and you know the meaning of it, that helps you, gives you a cue, hopefully, on what you should be doing. And she's amazing. It's like a square dance caller. She knows the words to use, and she has her language, and it's for you, if you continue here, to learn that language to your advantage in terms of learning how to do the physical movements.
Okay, ready for the calls? We're going to square dance. All right. So, setting it up correctly. T stance. Left hand to the shoulder, right hand up higher. We're going to do this, but we're also going to do this, right? But we're not straight-legged, right? We want to root down, because if you're straight-legged, you're going to stumble when you have two weighted feet. You don't know, your body does not know which is the weightless foot. So we're going to need to store the energy by flexing on that right or back knee or leg, setting it up. Multitask. Turn the hips and waist, move the energy, swing it all the way over to brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Twist, step, root down to store energy. T stance. All together. L stance, turn the hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist, step, root down, set up the hand. Multitask, turn the hips and waist, firm down, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, T-stand, set it up. All together, turn hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. Right hand higher, T stance. L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, root down, T stance. L stance, turn hips and waist, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, twist step, hold your ball. Hold your ball, okay, and root down. Okay, you should feel very, very relaxed at this point. Okay, nothing is raised, everything is sinking down, obeying gravity. This is Tai Chi, okay? So you feel your legs, maybe your knees, maybe your upper body a little bit, feeling a bit of warmth and maybe a little stress, but that's the good stuff, okay? So can you see that your body is nice and warmed up? It knows what gravity is. It's giving you that safety valve. And then you can move safely. Simple, okay? But we have to train our body. 50. Okay? Let's practice our Tai Chi walk now, coming forward, okay? So unlike the 10 form, the 16 and the 24 require linear movements, so Tai Chi walk is the foundation. So unless we get our feet work really well, or our hands will mimic if they're done well, okay? Good Tai Chi posture, hands at your waist, pivot with your right heel, walk in the zigzag direction, two hips addressed, bear down on your right, out on an L, hardly any weight, because the weight now drifts from the bottom of your foot all the way through your system, through your chest and through your shoulders, and down as a bow stance. Okay, that's very important. Sit back, sit down, twist out to the left, two hips in that direction. L stance, move the energy all across, then turn the hips and waist, bow stance. And at bow stance, you should have felt your shoulders even dropping a little bit more. getting that sense of groundingness, gravity taking care of you. Now you can release some of that energy and put it all the way back into the back foot to allow the right heel to pivot out because it's weightless. Walk in that direction, put your heel out. Do not put much weight there because all the energy needs to then move through the system and come across and come down softly on a bow stance. Knee not beyond the toe, and the back knee should not be locked. And it should never be dipped, okay? So here, let's do an experiment. So you say, my knee is not locked, but let's really lock it. Let's stiffen it up. Now, do you feel that the knee is not only locked, but there's a shift in your Tai Chi posture? Now, do the other extreme. Dip this back knee down. Oh my goodness, we are going to fall. There's nothing keeping us firm to the ground. Therefore, we come up a little bit, but do not lock. Okay? But I should see your knee pretty straight, but not dipped and not stiff up like this, okay? So that's that in-between stage that we need to find and get that sensation. Sitting back and sitting down. Twist out on a zigzag to the left, 2 hips in that direction. Heel out. You're gonna move the energy all the way through, then flatten down, bow stance. Drop that shoulder even more. Sit back and sit down to alleviate the weight of the front, to allow it to twist out. Walk in that right direction, heel out. Use that energy to move that you've saved so well. Turn the hips and waist down. Sit back and sit down. Twist out, walk in the left zigzag, heel, move the energy all the way through the system, flatten down, bow. So in this deliberate walking and slow pace, we're trying to build muscle strength and understanding. It's not because I want enough time to, only want the time to, or that duration to direct you, but also to build the strength that we need. So in Tai Chi, if the better we can hold our weight all on one foot, the cleaner and the more relaxation we are able to do, okay? Not asking you to go for that 100%, but always know that over time, one limb or one side of our body should be able to take that weight of our entire body. A little better for better balance. Last one. Twist out, shift weight, heel. Move that energy all the way through the system. Don't shortcut it and put it just to the waist. And then come down, and that's when you get this shoulder dropping down, okay? All right, you can go back to your regular spot. And let's see if we can come forward using our 16 now, okay? But first starting at the clock wall, dropping those shoulders, sinking your chest, tucking your butt. Thinking through that it's the 16 form, and we're going to come forward after we commence. Commencing form. Shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90 on the toe, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate, take a deep breath in, use your core to draw up that water. At shoulder level, reverse the process using the core to make yourself small. Shift weight to the right as you form your ball on a T stance. Step out on the heel. Turn the hips and waist, move that energy. Bottom hand advances to part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. Twist out as if you're walking in the zigzag direction. Hold your ball, heel out, move the energy. Bottom hand advances, part, and final 2. Half step forward means that back foot goes on to its toe while you hold your ball. You're gonna spin by dropping your right shoulder, lifting up the left hand on the toe of your front, set it off the ground. White crane spreads its wings. Drop the front foot, tuck the elbow in towards the center, then drop that hand down to bisect as you swirl back to look back. Multitask. 3 things happen. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Walk in that zigzag, set it up, all together. Turn the hips and waist, brush knee, 2 and final. Sit back, sit down, twist out, but when you shift your weight, the left hand is higher and the right hand starts to form a fist and keep it to the left hip. Okay? So when we shift our weight, these things happen. The right hand goes as a fist to the hip. Shift the weight, left hand goes down, right hand fisted up, comes up, and out to deflect. Turn that wrist in, bring it to the hip as you parry with the left and punch with the right. The ending movement of the punch, the left hand should be in line with the bend of the right elbow. Strip the guy off of you, open your fingers, roll back and sit down, push him down, push him up, push him out. Then you're going to what? Pivot on the back and pivot on the front of the heel, okay? So both foot are weighted now, so we're going to have to give up some weight of the back, and you're going to pivot on your heel, pivot on your other heel, the front, hook the right hand or back hand, shift the weight to a T. The hand that's closer to your face now takes a turn outward as you place your heel down to do a single whip. Okay, let's do it all first, and then we'll figure out how to do the details. Now, we want to get to the front, but we're going to have to swirl the back hand and rock the left foot because our weight has to be on the back, okay? Half step forward, swirl that right hand, weight on the back so that makes the front foot go on its heel, and then we're going to play our lute on our heel. Is that right? Is that right, Ken? Yeah. Repulse monkey? Is that right? Yeah. Center, higher, glance at the back. We're going backwards, all together. Ear, lift, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of our foot as we meet, slide back, push back. Lead with the toe, so you should be on the toe of your front. Left hand is higher, you're glancing at it, you're setting it up. 3 things happen. Ear, lift, toe, heel, meet in the center, repulse, final. And this is where I reposition you, but let's not do it this time, okay? You're going to pivot on your front foot, and you're going to pirouette on your back. Still not going to work because you're not going to see me, but let's see how well you can do it just by listening, okay? So we're going to pivot on the heel of the front. We're going to put our toe of the back right, put the weight on our toe. Therefore, our right hand should be palms up to the ceiling, and our left hand should be in a cup position, 2 inches below your navel. You're going to kick out with your right heel and reposition your ball. Here we go. Kick out with your right heel, hold your ball, shift your weight to the front, out with your left heel, turn the ball, put the left hand to the forehead, maiden shuttles on her left. Sit back, sit down, instep, hold your ball, right heel out, right hand comes up to the forehead, maiden on her right. Okay, and then we lost you, but some of you are doing good, okay? So come back. So yeah, good. You can laugh about it because, you know, it's not easy teaching our old body how to move, okay? And it's not easy not to see someone and just listen and have interference and everything. So that's usually the general thing about any kind of dance. You need a mirror, you need someone to watch, you need to be in the right frame of mind, you need to concentrate, but ever so much more in Tai Chi, okay, because you're balancing. All right, this time we're going sideways, okay? And I know that this is only our 5th class, and I know that we're getting to harder stuff, okay? And it seems like I'm kind of dragging on the easier stuff. In a way, yes. In a way, I want to clean up those movements before we get into a little harder ones. All right, let's go to the left now, okay? Regular way. And then we'll stop it after a certain part, maybe, okay? Maybe. All right? Good Tai Chi posture. Commencing form, shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, off the ground, open, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate. Take a deep breath in as we elevate. Shoulder level, push down, use your core, flex your knees, make yourself small. T-stance, holding your ball. Don't move unless you're secure. Step out on an L, move the energy, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that zigzag, hold your ball for better balance. Out on an L, move the energy, bottom hand advances. 2. Half step forward means left foot on its toe as you form your ball. Spin your ball to the right as you sit back on your back foot, allows you to rock the front foot to the toe. Left hand is elevated as you watch. Lift off the ground, place it on your toe, set up the parameters for white crane spreads his wings. And drop that left foot so it's weighted. So the front foot is only on its toe without hardly any weight. Drop the front foot as you tuck the elbow in, bisect the body. Cut it in half. Swirl back with your right hand to look at your left hand that's higher. All together, 3 things. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist. Brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, twist out, setting it up correctly. All together, brush knee 2. Sit back, sit down, twist out, left hand high, right hand fisted by the hip. Shift your weight, left hand comes down, right hand comes up, right heel comes up, deflect to the right. Turn it in, bring it to the hip as you parry. Step out to punch. Come back to that elbow now with the left hand. Strip the guy off of you, open your fingers, roll back, sit down, push him down. Push him up and push him out. This time we're going to pivot on our back heel and then our front heel. How are we going to do that? We're going to give some of the weight to our front to soften up that back and twist on the heel. The right hand, moves towards the back. We pivot on the front. We shift our weight, form our hook, arm our T. Left hand comes across, then turn the fist, push out as you set up your single whip. Half step forward, swirl that back hand, sit on the back foot, rock the front foot, play your lute on your heel. Okay, weight on the back. Weight has to be on the back because we're going to repulse a monkey, and we need the stability of our back or right foot. Center the front hand. Look at the right hand that's higher. All together. Ear, lift, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball of the front of the foot as you meet in the middle. Slide back, push forward. 1 more repulsing. Lead with the toe, so that means the front foot is on its toe. As you open to the palm to the ceiling of the front, left hand higher, glancing. Ready. Ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the front, slide back. Here goes our pivot and our pirouette. So just remember, pivot is usually on its heel, pirouette is on its toe. So we're going to pivot on the heel of the front, and we're going to shift the weight, and here we are. You should be able to see me. We're on the toe. We're pirouetting on the toe. Our weight is on the back. On our hands, we have the left hand 2 inches below your navel, and the right hand, the palm is up and to the ceiling, as if we were holding a ball, but incorrectly. So we're going to correct that. The right toed foot is going to come out and swing to its heel, and you're going to reposition your ball. Here we go. Step out, kick out, reposition. You're sort of in the beyond the clock now, okay? You're going to shift your weight to the front. You're going to put your heel out, and you're going to turn the ball, and you're going to be ready to put the shuttlecock to the left. We're going to sit back and sit down. We're going to take an instep, and we're going to hold our ball. Our right foot is on its toe. As we spin the ball to the left, our heel of the right comes out. Ready? Spin, heel, turn, forehead, put the shuttlecock there. Good. Now we're going to the bottom of the seat. How? We're going to use our back or left foot and come up, put it on its toe, reposition, look to the clock wall, set up the left hand, and lift the front foot as we go down to the bottom of the seat. Sweep with the right. One hand comes up, 2 hands come up, then your foot, and stretch out with your knee and flash arms like a fan. Okay, don't worry about it, we'll cover it later. Sit back, sit down, twist, step, 12 o'clock. What happens? 9 o'clock? 2 things happen. Flip the hands. 1 thing happens. 2 things happen at 3, flip and close. 2 things happens at 9. And that's the end of cloud hands at 3. We close and we form a ball, and we turn it into a T stance, because we now want to ward off. Everybody knows how to ward off from 10 form. Step out, bottom hand advances to forearm your opponent. Turn your hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look down, look back, turn, contact, turn, push, separate, roll back, sit down, spiral up and out. Sit back, sit down, twist, step. T stance holding your ball. Step out, L, bottom hand advances, ward off. Make sure it's eye level. Turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, sit back, turn at the hips and waist to look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push the energy from the middle, separate, roll back and sit down. Spiral up and out. Apparently closing, sit back, sit down, twist, drop that left hand, pivot on the right, right hand follows, pivot on the right to come in, right hand follows, embrace the tiger, right hand on the inside of the cross through the middle of your body, weight it heavily on the left to allow the right foot to move over, turn on the wrists, so now both palms are facing, you're about chest level, bring the tiger closer to get that momentum to use on the left wrist to push out that energy, separate the energy, drop the shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex the knees. Gravity brings you back home as you lift off the ground to close your form. Okay, well, it's hard work, yeah? But 16 movements, you've done it, okay? Not really, kind of done roughly, but here we are, we can refine them, okay, and kind of smooth out those jagged edges. All right. Not easy to teach too because you can't see everything about me, but ideal because we have cameras going every which way. So please use your online lessons to help yourself, okay? Scrub it back and forth. That's how Ken taught me how to do the 10, the 16, and the 88. Scrubbing back somebody else's videos and figuring it out, then teaching it to himself, then putting me off and saying, wait, I'm not ready for you, and then finally, getting more into his journey to feel more confident, and then teaching it to me. Same way with me. I won't teach you until I know a little bit more. Ready for the back step? Needle to the bottom of the sea. Half step to the back, cross the hips and waist, firm down, lift off, swipe down. One hand comes up in the center, two hands come up, then your foot, stretch that knee out, flash arms. Okay? So we're going to shuttle to the left. Shuttle to the left. Sit back, shuttle to the right. Is that right? Shuttle to the right, shuttle to the left. Now, okay? What do we do to go to the bottom of the sea? Take the half step, set up the right hand, weight on the back, so therefore the tip of your toe of your front foot, you're going to come across this way. What are you going to do? Come across this way. Swipe the guy this way, but at the same time, go down. What are we going to do? Set it up, weight on the back, heavy on the back, light on the front, set it up, left hand sorta in line with your hip of the opposite hip, left hand opposite to the right hip. This guy's going to go down like this. How is it going to go down like this? Actually, a little hunch and then go down. A little hunch and go down, but not straight down, on a little angle, okay? At the same time, this guy helps you drop and swipes. How? Helps you drop and swipe. So that the end motion, this hand comes back to this way, almost like a brush knee. Okay? So setting it up, and the front foot has to come down. What does it have to do? Set it up, and lift and down. One more time. Set it up, and down. One more time, last time, I promise. Set it up and down. Okay, good. So you found what? Taxing, huh? On the back leg or back knee or the back front or whatever. Everything is kind of achy, okay, because that's not something we use in normal activity. So it was something like this. It was something like this. So when this guy gets stacked, it's already pretty much stacked because this front foot is weightless, okay? It's a placeholder. This guy is 45, and you set it up this way, it comes down. And it doesn't come down this way because it'll make me go down this way, but it goes on an angle, okay, on a slant. Okay, getting to your opponent. Okay, I look at this class and I say, I know all of you and I know how much you can do, and I always end up picking up on this particular cluster of movements because I feel that all the rest of the movements aside from this cluster are passable. They're pretty good. Not saying they're top-notch, but this area is the stuff that needs a lot more work. But it's going to be over a space of time because you're going to have to intake it, you're going to have to strengthen everything. And if you look at my video of what, Victor, 2007 or something. It was nowhere, near to what this is. But you compare it with somebody else. But, you don't really compare. But there's always room to improve or refine or understand a little bit better, then make your body do that, okay? Or try to do that. Also, it's really good because we talk about our 10 principles and we sort of laid it out for you. But in doing serpent, what are you doing? You're stacking. That means you're grounding yourself and obeying gravity. And then you're turning. What are you doing? Spinning on that axle. And the top matches the top, the hand that comes down, matches that bottom. And then what? You're going to come out. You're going to stretch. And as this guy is hooking, what are you going to do? Adjust this guy, come this way. And then when you finally spin out again, you're on the cable, you're going to have to spin on that axle as you come up, center yourself, and come up. Golden cockerel, right? So if you take that apart and if you really logically go through your principles, you're doing all of that. So that in a nutshell is what Tai Chi is. Then once you get something like this and you do your other movements, you say, hey, I am spinning, I am shifting, and I am matching my top with my bottom, vice versa, okay? All right, let's do something easy now. Let's go cloud hands, okay? Watch how I do cloud hands, okay? So we said it's a crab walk. We said we're like at faces of the clock, the face of the clock rather. And we said that we should never raise our shoulders just because the top hand says it's higher up. Everything is dropped so that your feet feel heavier. So when I'm doing this, I'm grounded here. When I lift and put this, I still am grounded. But once I pass the 12, the weight shifts. Then that 9 o'clock foot can be weightless, right? Oftentimes my 12 o'clock, the bottom hand lags. What do I mean? I advance the top hand at 12, but this guy is dragging. But ideally, this guy should be here. And what? Turning of the hips and waist. Turning of the hips and waist. So if you're not sure if you're turning your hips and waist, keep your feet stable. Turn the hips and waist. The more I turn, the more my hands get out there, but we're not looking at that far, but making the point that if you turn your hips and waist, it's sort of, and then I was very, when I started teaching 13 years ago, I said, I never want to, I'll put in a positive. I always wanted to keep what my master taught us and never forget the form. But I also remembered that when he used his instructions and I got the translation, that the bottom hand was as if it were holding a cup. And then I got to thinking, and then Ken and I were talking, and I decided that I'm going to change it. So this is how I've changed it. I come to my 12 o'clock, then I sort of form my cup just before I change the position of my hand. So why did I do that? I just felt that once I have this cup here, this shoulder was not raised, but it wasn't relaxed. So I said, clouds are floating. So I'm just going to let my body dangle a little bit more, and I'm fine with that. So I'm just passing that on to you. But I really want to impress upon you, because I have it in perfect examples where experienced students all of a sudden decide, I'm going to be the perfect cloud. Do you see what I did? I not only forgot about the flexing of my knee, and I'm fully weighted on 2 feet, but my shoulder went up. Whereas I This is cloud hands. I'm not exaggerating where my shoulders are. This is my normal stance. The shoulders are dropped. So my foot that's holding the weight feels even heavier, as well as the foot that doesn't have weight is even lighter because this is dropped. Okay? So can we try that as a drill? Okay? So left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom. Okay? Open. 1, 12 o'clock. Then you ask yourself, are you using your hips and waists? Are you soft on your hand and doing away with the cup somewhat? Okay, let's go the other way. So you saw that you had to use your hips and waists, otherwise your core was not engaged and it was merely a hand motion. If you're in level 24, we want to get away from hands. We want to use the whole body. We want to strengthen our core. Okay, and out into infinity, beyond the tips of your fingers. They shouldn't be studying your fingers. The glance is beyond the tip of the top hand fingers. Other way. Okay? How do you get out to 3? You moved your hips and waists. How are you going to get out to 9? Turn the hips and waists. Shift the weight. Spiral on that axle. Open. Shift the weight gradually. Bear down. Turn the hips and waists. Open, middle. Don't let that hand run away from you. Keep it synchronized. Don't hunch over, but don't arch your back. Are your shoulders relaxed and down? The other way now. Turn the hips and waists. So the emphasis, turning the hips and waists. And the bottom matches by opening or closing. So if at the end of this routine you feel that Tai Chi is soft, warm and fuzzy, and meditative, most likely you are relaxed. Okay? And that is the nature of Tai Chi. The other way. Okay, opposites. Flip and close that opposite. Turn the hips and waists. Okay, short one. Okay, just stand there. How are you going to get out to 3? Turn the hips and waists. Do not reach out there with your hands. Turn the hips and waists. Okay, let's turn it all the way and get to 4 o'clock. Turn, 5 o'clock, good. Okay, what? Turn out to 7 o'clock, almost at 6. So what are we saying? What are we proving? Our hips and waists are engaged. If our hips and waists are driving our movement, more than likely our core is working. Okay? Let's undo that now. Let's just use our hands, okay? This is wrong. Let's use our hands, okay? Use your hands. How do you use your hands? You can do anything with your scrambled your eggs, okay? But this time we're gonna do it in a form. We're gonna use only hands to do cloud hands, okay? Let's see how well we can do it. Hey, I can do it without even moving my waist. What about you? So good. So you found that in the experiment where we merely did our hands, we reached out to our numbers. We could keep the sky stable. But you also found that when you move the hips and waist and you just use the hands, there's something not connected. We were not using our body in the optimal way. We were not using the energy that we have in a coordinated, connected way. In that, if we put the hips and waist and the core together, the hands just float. Right? But once we did away with our hips, it became merely an arm motion. I'm not even using my core. You also saw that when I used my hips and waist and I was only putting my emphasis on my hands, this guy was just swaying for the reason of just swaying, and this guy was just swaying because it wanted to, but nothing was engaged back here. But once we put a third layer on and we say, it's hands, hips, back, that's helping us to move. I could say a fourth thing, the fourth thing being processing through my mind. What is it that I'm doing? Where is it that I'm supposed to be looking? Okay? So, Tai Chi can be done in many levels, okay? Superficially, which is fine because you're stepping into something new. Then gradually you say to yourself, what is my body doing to make it more efficient? Heel out, hold your ball. Heel out, spin, flip, shuttle. Sit back, out, ball, spin, turn, flip, there. Okay, that's what I want to practice now, okay? So what? This way, yeah? Yeah, okay. Angle to the right, right hand on the top, left foot ready to go, left hand on the bottom. Holding your ball, we're gonna shuttle to the left, okay? Rooting down, step out, spin the ball. As it goes to the forehead, flip and put the shuttlecock. Sit back, twist out, oh, wrong way, hold ball, heel, spin the ball. As it goes to the forehead, move, shuttle, flip. This is the correct way. Sit back, twist out, hold ball, spin ball, forehead flip, shuttle, cock. Sit back, twist out, hold ball, heel, spin.